Afghanistan, a country linked in many people's minds to impossible hardship and intractable problems.
Fortunately, it's another 20 kilometres to the worst affected villages, and we're not going to be able to get through in this weather.
A country where over 7 million children lack enough food to eat, nearly half of whom suffer from acute malnutrition.
Yerden bolgak namni, istafrog namni, tepoy namshi. Nangdarası gush namir.
A country where women and girls bear the brunt of poverty and injustice, and whose access to education and work has reduced markedly since the international withdrawal in 2021.
ممنوع شدن خانم‌ها از تحصیل و کار و حذف خانم‌ها از جامعه و این باعث شد که ضربه بزرگ روحی روانی به اینها وارد شه.
A country where poverty is driven by the legacy of conflict, constraints upon women's inclusion, and above all, the worsening impacts of climate change.
دی خریه در حدود 40 نفر جان باختن و 3 نفر مفقود گرده بود. فعلا جسد یکی از او کسایی که مفقود گرده بود پیدا شده در اونجا و مردم قریه در حال کشیدن جسدی از اونها هستند.
Still, to travel around Afghanistan, which is now safer than before the international withdrawal, is to meet countless resourceful people who are increasingly able to draw fruitfulness from this challenging landscape.
شده ما امسال از سال جلوتر بهتره.
تغییرات خلاصه و شو ذاکر داشتیم که کناره مشواق خپل وشدوریه ده و رگای استگای نست.
خشک سیلیات شد چیزی پیدا نمیشد. وقتا بود شده که یعنی شو نونم یعنی کمریسی یک وقته بکرد. زندگی حالا کم بیمی 3 سال بیتر شده.
Tackling Afghanistan's challenges means listening to all of these experiences, to those thriving and to those barely surviving, and reaching into Afghans' own diverse culture to pursue a truly Afghan vision of abundance. Afghanistan has a rich food culture. Meals are important in Afghan culture for families and friends, and people share food generously. Families typically sit on the floor, around a distarwan, and when it is available, they share seasonal food typical of their region, with different rice recipes, breads, and ways of preparing vegetables, mutton and goat. Enormous plates of fruit are often served after meals, and tea is ever present.
مردم ما که قابلی میخورن کباب است، روش است، نوی روش است، کباب است، 4 رقم کباب داریم، کوفته کباب داریم، گوشت کباب داریم، جوجه کباب داریم، جگر داریم. این دو یک پروگرام هست.
Feasting and also fasting are part of life, part of enjoying communal and personal well-being, with self-denial as well as grateful enjoyment being part of Afghans' vision of wholeness.
خداوند در اینجا فرض گردانده یکی از ارکان پنجگانه اسلامیت ما رمضان را قرار داده. هر وقتی که رمضان به هر سال به اینا از رمضان به اندازه آخر استقبال میکنن.
But too many children in Afghanistan don't know this abundance. They know scarcity. Too many know daily hunger. Poverty drives many to work for a meagre income. Many are forced to herd livestock or sell snacks, even at preschool age, due to economic necessity.
میگم چینی با مراسم خراب میشه مرخونه.
سفره از اینو عزیزی که چون که از شوهر دور هستن، امو یک نان خشک که دارن سری دسترخوان پرتو میکنن. بسیار باشه زیادترش بشود دو غذا بسیار کم از که داشت باشه. این یک کمی که قاش آش قاشقی میگه ما مردم امو رو دارن، یا یک کمی که برنج که یک بر تبریک پخته میکنن امو رو دارن.
Poverty drives early marriage and, in some cases, the sale of children, so that families can afford to feed their other children. The source of most of Afghanistan's food is its largely rural economy, but small-scale farmers in particular experience a range of threats that can drive them and their families into hunger with one failed harvest.
سالا گذشته ما باغ داشتیم، یعنی انگور میادین تمام ملت میخورد، خود ما میخوردیم، میفروختیم، اما 2 سال میشه اصلا خوش شده. این سال که بخی خوش شد، چشم خونه داشتیم که همه خوش شده، هیچ چی دیگه او نمیاد.
So, what can be done?
Many of these people have lost everything that they had due to the floods earlier this year, and many were already struggling greatly because of long-term droughts. A place like Gore cannot sustain itself on the basis of food distributions indefinitely. What people need here is support for livelihoods, skills training, agricultural input so that people can derive a living from the land. I spoke to a gentleman briefly who told me that if it wasn't for this food distribution site, he and his family would have left for Iran. But we want people in Ghor to derive a livelihood in their hometowns, in their farms, in their hills, in this incredibly beautiful part of the country.
کاربارا قبلا ما نداشتیم. حالا که حمایت میکنه کاربارای ما مصروفات زیاد داره. کچالو میکارن، بامیه میکارن، بادرای میکارن.
Just as farmers such as Ali Mohammed draw healthy crops from their often unyielding soil, so there are opportunities to nurture Afghanistan's recovery despite the challenges.
Yes, it is possible to tackle child hunger and malnutrition. The key is not simply having a good health or a nutrition project or a good food distribution, but making sure that we support people through the entire journey, from their ability to survive, to adapt, and to thrive. And this means complementing emergency food and nutrition work with wash facilities that prevent diseases, and supporting livelihoods and agricultural systems that are resilient to climate change. And included in all of this is the ability to access education that reduces generational poverty and over-reliance on an agricultural-based system. We have to think long-term, and we have to think holistically. That's what we invite our partners to work with us to achieve.
Every child deserves the food they need to develop a healthy body and mind. Every family deserves enough of the right kinds of food. A truly Afghan vision of abundance is within reach, and we pledge to do what we can to realise it.